Hi, welcome back to another one of my allotment updates on plot 7A. It's the 26th of May and it is super hot today. It's got to be about 21, 22 degrees. So I thought I'd give a quick update on how everything's been growing in this recent hot period that we've been having. We start down here on this bed, which this is where I planted the quinoa, and I've been trying to work out what is quinoa and what's weed, and I'm not too sure because I've never grown it before. I think I've worked out that these little ones down here are what, with a bit of googling, I believe to be the quinoa seedlings, but I haven't weeded this bed at all because I'm just not quite sure what's weed and what's seed, so that's looking a bit messy at the moment. Over to here, the giant carrots are still growing really nicely, still really happy with them. Hopefully they're doing as well underneath the soil level as they are on top. But yeah, happy with them. And again, these are the stump rooted carrots, which you can't really see because I've got this mesh on them to protect them from the carrot fly. But the foliage is now actually raising the mesh above the level of the hoop that I put in, so they're growing pretty nicely too. If I get really close, then I can see what's going on just about, but they're looking pretty happy, so all's good there. And then this is a bed where I had my tulips in my last video. What I've done is I've dug them all out. I've taken the bulbs out. You can leave them in place, but I've taken them out because I hadn't dug the ground properly when I actually planted them. So I've taken them out to store them for next year. I've dug the ground over, and in its place I've put some little cucumber plants, which I grew last year. I actually got them free last year. I wouldn't have grown them otherwise, but they came free with something else. And I plopped them in and they grew really well last year and the kids loved them, so I've actually bought some this year. I haven't grown these from seed, I didn't have time. But I bought some and put them in, and I tried to construct this trellis thing yesterday. I didn't have string with me yesterday. What I want to do is obviously tie it together so that, you know, the first gust of wind doesn't take it down, but I've got string with me today, so later on I'm going to tie it up so it's a bit more stable than you can see it currently is. The lavender hedge that I planted well. The lavender hedge that I planted is doing well, is what I was trying to say. I've seen plenty of bees on that as well, little honey bees, which is great because that was part of the reason for putting it in. This bed here is looking a complete mess. I did bring the strimmer up the day before yesterday, but it ran out of battery as per usual halfway through. So this top end hasn't been trimmed or cut. So it's looking a bit messy and I need to tidy that up, but I'm going to do that on a day when it's not quite so hot. The chervil is going mad, which is good. Tarragon down there and the chives with just the one little chive flower. And then I've got the cornflower there, which I think needs thinning, but I'm just sort of leaving it to do its thing. And the gladioli are coming up as well. Yeah, now down to the rest of the beds, and I apologise, they are super weedy at the moment. I meant to get them weeded the day before yesterday, but it got so hot, and after I planted out everything and watered, it was already 7:30 in the evening, so I went home. So weeding will be my number one job for next time, so don't judge me too much by my weeds. These ones here are my onions, which are looking good. There's no sign of any of them bolting at the moment and sending up flower heads, which is good, because when it gets hot like this and if they don't have enough water, they can suddenly shoot on to flower and then the onion won't grow any bigger, so you don't want that. But none of them are showing signs of doing that yet, so that's good. The spring onions I planted here, you probably can't see it on the camera, but they are just starting to come up now. I must have put rather a lot of seed in that one spot there. They should be fine, but yeah, they're just starting to come up. So I'm happy with that. The first row that I planted a few weeks ago never germinated, so it was probably too cold or something else was wrong. But the second row is coming up great. Down to the potatoes, 4 different varieties. Lost 2 plants here. That was partly due to the frost and partly due to them getting eaten by slugs. So I've lost those 2 plants and I've lost the 2 on the end there. But I've got 3 left here in this variety, which is the purple ones I planted. And I've got a full row of the rat potatoes, a full row of the ones I can't remember the name of that I planted here, and a full row of my King Edwards. And these ones here are actually starting to flower now as well, which is good. Shouldn't be too long, another month or so perhaps, until these are ready to pull up and harvest. So it'll be nice to see how they've done. Over here is my polytunnel, which is a new addition to, I think, my last video. I put this up to try and grow hotter things such as chilies and watermelons. And I've had them in here. It was really hot yesterday as well, and I had this closed up. I didn't have a chance to come up and open it. So I was a bit worried about seeing what it was like this morning when I came up, but they're doing all right. The watermelons are in it now, so we come round this way. I've got the watermelons that I've just planted. That one went in first. He doesn't look like he's liking the heat too much, but he's surviving. And then this one here, which is doing nicely. This one went in 2 days ago. And this one here. And people do say you can't grow watermelons in the UK because it's not warm enough, or, you know, not the right climate. But I'm going to give it a go and see what happens. And at the minute, he's looking fairly happy. I put the chilies in here the other day, just in their pots. I think the smaller one over there, hasn't probably liked this extreme change in temperature too much, but hopefully he'll bounce back. If he doesn't, I've got plenty of others. And again, that other small one just down here is getting a bit white, but hopefully he'll be okay. However, the big one I put in has actually flowered just since. He's got an ant on him. He's flowered just since being in here, so hopefully that's a good sign. Yeah, those bigger ones are looking fairly happy. And then this bed here, got my strawberries. Got some flowers on the ones down there. This one here is the Sweet Colossus, which is meant to be the big strawberries, and I've got a couple of nice looking ones there. I'm going to look forward to him turning red and getting to eat him. And yeah, another one there, so hopefully very shortly they'll be turning red, which is exactly what we want. Not a lot of fruit on the other Sweet Colossus plants, but hopefully they'll do better next year because this was their first year in. Down here I've got my Tomatillo plant. I've got 3 of them. I've only actually planted 1 out. I wanted to plant him out and see how he did before planting out the other 2 I've got at home, but he's surviving, he's growing. I'm going to tie him to this a little later on to give him some support. That's cool. And then down there we've got the 3 cheeky curry plants. I'm going to eventually turn it into 2. The one in the middle will be pulled out eventually, as long as these 2 both survive. That was more of an emergency spare one, just in case. And again down here we've got vegetable spaghetti, which I grew last year. I didn't eat a lot of it, but the one I did eat I really enjoyed, so hopefully this year if they grow I'll get around to eating some more of them when my lovely flatmate cooks them for me. And these are 3 different varieties of courgette. And I can't remember which is which, but I need to look at the seed packet because I know I planted them alphabetically just so I could remember what was where, and now because I can't remember the names of them, I can't remember which one's which. But I've got that one, and this one, which is getting overtaken with weeds, but once I've done my weeding, that one there. I've actually planted a spare just next to him because he wasn't looking too good a little while ago. He was getting eaten and not looking great, so I put a spare in, which is coming up. But when I've done my weeding and sorted it all out, that'll be better. Whew, down here, so hot. This is a little lettuce bed. As you can see, the slugs have been enjoying my pak choi. It was looking really good a few days ago, and then we had rain about a week ago and the slugs came out and they've just decimated it, which is a shame. Yeah, a real shame. But on the plus side, the slugs didn't seem to want to eat the Tom Thumb lettuce, which are here, or the Lolo Rosso. No, Lolo Bianco. Rosso's the red one. I've got the white one, which I've got there, and then I've got some seedlings. The first lot I sowed again didn't grow very well. I only got the 2 plants, so I put some more in. And the seedlings are now coming up. And then just up on the next row we've got the mustard leaves, which are pretty spicy actually. The name suggests they'd be spicy, but I didn't believe it till I ate them, and they were super spicy, which is nice. Gave the salad that we had a bit of a kick. Down to here. Oh, snail. No. Dead snail. It's alright. It's dead. Runner beans. Not a lot to say about them. They're coming up nicely. They were from the seeds from the plants I grew last year actually, so it's quite nice to be using the seeds from last year this year. But they're growing fine. I put this one in the other day. This was my damaged plant, the only plant I had left after I lost the others, but it was damaged. The stem was broken and I don't think he's going to make it, but I've been planting my cucumbers directly in the hope of getting some, and they have come up just here. It's grown a lot since the other day actually. It was only just poking his head above the other day and now he's right out. I also put a ring of sand around him just to try and deter the slugs a little. Hasn't really worked, so I can see a little snail trail there. But hey ho. But they're coming up. That's up. Up there, 2 up there, and 1 up there. So hopefully if they grow alright and the slugs leave them alone, I'll be alright for my cucumbers. And the final few beds rather. That's where I'm eventually going to have the chilies. At the minute I say they're in the other polytunnel, but I will be putting them out here. I'm going to get another one of those tunnels and put it up here and keep this for chilies and keep that other one purely for the watermelons, because hopefully if they grow they'll get big and there won't be space for everything in there. So this will be for the chilies. Just down there we've got the borlotti beans, which are growing nicely. Happy with how they're doing. It's the first year of doing them, so I'll need to look into how much I need to thin them by. They're all getting a little bit eaten, but nothing major. It's all cool. Oh, I've got some radishes down here being guarded by my little mini scarecrow. Thought you made a more interesting row marker. So yeah, radish, and there's some chard just starting to come up here. And then over to the other beds. Spinach. Spinach has been doing so well. We've had so much off it already. It's really good. And I love spinach, so really happy with that. And again, I've been keeping it watered because it will bolt as soon as it gets hot if it hasn't got enough water. So I've been trying to keep that well watered so it doesn't bolt.
I'm going to bolt in a minute.
Yeah. Oh, red onions. Sorry mate, I'll wind the video up and you can go and sit in the shade and drink your beer. These ones, there was one here the other day that had sent up a flower stalk, so I've pinched that out and I'm hoping it'll be okay. But yeah, aside from the weeds, happy enough with that lot. 3 tomato plants that I want to put in here when I've got some more compost to fill it up. And down to this one. Carrots, sweet candle carrots with snowball onions, which are looking good. No signs of any damage to them at all. They're looking like they're starting to bulb up a little perhaps. So yeah, happy with this tub. Very happy with this tub. Yeah, and then lastly today, my stock plants have all fallen over. I should have put canes in to hold them up, but they weren't the healthiest looking plants, and I didn't actually expect them to survive, so I didn't do anything with them. And now they have flowered, and I wish I had put canes in, but they still smell amazing. Elephant garlic, which thankfully, unlike my other garlic, seems to be doing okay. No signs of any rust or rot or anything on these, and they're nice and firm in the ground. So hopefully in about a month or so I can harvest them and have some nice elephant garlic. And then over to my garlic bed, which from my last video you'll know I'm not happy with, and I think it's just getting worse and worse. The leaves are getting yellower. It's not great. And they're still, well, you see they're falling over, they're loose. I have left them in. And I've left them in purely because I went down lower on one of them the other day under the soil and checked out a couple, and one of them was horrible and rotten and not going to make it, but the other one was actually alright, and it was starting to bulb a little, so I thought I'd come this far with it. And if it's a disease in the soil, it's not going to spread if I just keep it in here anyway. It's not like it's an airborne one that could spread, so I'm going to keep them in here, see what happens, pull them up in probably a month, 6 weeks, and if I've got anything then great, and if I haven't, it's no more than what I was expecting. So yeah, let's see what happens. I don't have high hopes for this lot, but you never know. And then lastly, my other carrots, not a lot to say about them, same as the others, doing okay now, perked up. I thought I was going to lose them after we had that frost, but they're still here, so that's good. And this garlic, which again is getting a little bit yellow, not half as bad as that lot, but the difference is that this lot is still quite firmly rooted in the ground, so I'm hoping that that's doing better underground than the other lot is. And my onions. And the only difference with these onions as opposed to all the others is I grew these from seed, and the others were all set, so I thought I'd do a little example. They were meant to be giant onions, but I didn't sow them early on enough for them to grow giant, but I'm just going to see how big they get. And it's a bit interesting growing from seed and growing from set and seeing the difference. And these apparently shouldn't bolt as freely and easily as the ones growing from sets anyway, so if we get any more hot weather, these may well do better than the others. Yeah, that's about it for today on this super hot Friday. I'm going to give everything a little bit of a water now. I'd rather leave it till later to water, but I'm not going to have the chance to do it later, so I'm going to have to do it now and hope it doesn't all evaporate and burn the leaves. But that's the update for today. I'll do another one in a couple of weeks, and let's see how stuff's getting on now. Then, too hot to think. Anyway, thanks for watching, and have a good weekend. Enjoy the sun, and I'll see you next time.